Hi there again. So this is the continuation of my video where I show you the main running parties at the 2018 elections of Hungary. So if you don't understand what's going on in this one, check the first part. Number 4. LMP. Lehet más a politika. Politics can be different. A very westernized party, mostly reminding us of Germany's Greens. A young, very pro-environment and pro-equality, radical democratic party. Their power and weakness in 2010's election was that they mostly had new faces. This was the core of their communication as well. New generation. And still is. Only that by today they've faced 8 years of being a cute little party who did that nice try in politics. They had it. From the starting directory of LMP, very few if any person is left. Gergely Karácsony, for example, the prime minister candidate of MSZP that I just talked about in the other video, was a founder and former head of their campaigns. I'm not going to tell you all the changes in the person of the last 6 years, but what I say is people came, people left, but now they're facing 2018 with a leadership that might be more coherent, steady and firm. In Hungary, women are very much underrepresented both in politics and business. So LMP created their powerful but friendly candidate for prime ministers? Prime person? What's the PC term for this? Anyways, so their candidate is Bernadett Szél. She is tough on corruption, very green and a mother, and we know how well this later works. This was a smart idea and it fits right into their politics. This resulted their 8%. LMP, just like FIDESZ or Jobbik, also tries to protect the small Hungarian businesses, but they also concentrate heavily on the countryside or farmers. The last 4 years have been flourishing for them, allowing to build a larger group of supporters, and now they have a chance to grow bigger. We'll see. Number 5. DK, Demokratikus Koalíció, Democratic Coalition. One of the weirdest phenomena of the last 4 or 12, 28 years. I talked about Ferenc Gyurcsány before. He's the former PM for MSZP. You know, the guy who didn't resign on time. DK is his new party. Party of a man everyone thought will go down the sewer. Gyurcsány is a tough man. Very ambiguous, kinda creepy, and definitely shady but a survivor. This party is him, and he is the party. His opposition is concerned he is mentally unstable, but I mean, just watch this video. He meant seriously. Yes, he is our own Hungarian Hugh Grant. By the way, in this game everyone thinks about the others that they're crazy. Now, Gyurcsány had his little movement and it rose from nothing, a movement into a powerful little party with stunningly active supporters. They are also active in social media and Gyurcsány meets the people a lot. By the way, have you noticed how everyone is old on these pictures? Yes, this is an issue in Hungary. Win the old, win the election. So DK is around 5% and just on the level, on the border for forming a faction in the house. Their program is left-ish, socialist-ish. You know, Gyurcsány's cabinet back then was the most capitalistic and corporate bunch of socialists you could have ever seen. I told you, this is just weird. Number 6. Momentum. This is a party that rose quickly only last year. They also started as a movement. Hungary was to organize the Olympic Games of 2024, and this was a subject of huge debate. Seemed like we were in many ways unable to succeed. The majority of the country demanded a referendum, and even the FIDESZ supporters. A petition launched and Momentum stepped up with their campaign called No Limpia. Sorry, but there's no excuse for bad puns. But anyways, they gathered more than the double of the subscriptions that we needed for the referendum. They also participated in the most of the anti-government protests, and soon they transformed into a party. Coming from a somewhat liberal moral background of 1991 FIDESZ, being green, authority questioning, sometimes radical and yet still kinda conservative, I don't know, it's just hard to say where they're heading, even though they have a pretty neatly done PDF on their program. Being a very new party, they haven't set up a PM candidate but concentrate mostly on the constituencies and reaching the minimum 1% of the vote so they wouldn't have to pay back the campaign support given by the state. They also earn a considerable amount of personal financial support, which can be checked on their website. There is a theory that they are nothing else but a power erected by FIDESZ to fracture the already heavily wounded and weak opposition. I mean, this is something that is familiar to everyone. This is a classic method that worked very well for Putin. We don't know much about whether this is true or not, but we know that momentum means a lot to the young people and for so far managed to get them involved in politics with way more success than any other parties in the last 8 or 12 years, including the normally pretty young LMP, which they share much in common with. Hungary suffers from young workers and intellectuals leaving the country in huge numbers, so there are more than 370,000 people who are eligible to vote via mail. So a party that brings them into the polling places has a prosperous future for sure. In these days, it seems they try to participate in the togetherness attempt of the opposition. The head of the party, András Fekete-Győr, stepped back in favor of the socialist candidate. Now the meaning is that we don't let the FIDESZ candidate win in these constituencies. By the way, this is the guy the press loves to compare to the young Viktor Orbán. This is also the group I have most of my personal ties to. I'm not really a party person, but it seems my friends are really much into this thing lately. I see some good people here, trying to make a change, to progress, to put effort and humble knowledge into politics. I really hope they will succeed, I really do, because I like these people. But however, I still haven't made up my mind about what to think of momentum. Way too early to form an opinion since they are only at 2-3% at maximum, and if they survive, the next election or elections could be more interesting for them. Yes, there's a water stain on my t-shirt. So, number 7, Együtt. Another movement. Started as an anti-government Facebook group in 2012, they became a party under the name Együtt, which means together, and they call themselves the party of those who change an era. Yes, this sounds pretty bad in English, but somewhat better in Hungarian when I say a korszakváltók pártja. A bit dramatic, but it's politics at the end. Some of their members arrived from LMP, some from MSZP, and their leader Péter Juhász is an old-timer in Hungarian media. Was a founder of Kendermag, a pro-marijuana association, show host of the semi-illegal voluntary radio called Tilos, and a political activist. And the guy who called the police on himself for growing weed in his own apartment. A vivid attacker of FIDESZ, he was representative in District 5, a very important district in the heart of Budapest. This is the same constituency Momentum set up their big gun Fekete-Győr. Juhász was a candidate this year too, until a few weeks ago, when he stepped back so he could help other reps to get more votes against the FIDESZ candidate. As I mentioned earlier, since then Momentum decided to do so as well. I also mentioned that all the opposition parties tried to work hard against FIDESZ. Juhász criticized MSZP and now lately also LMP for not giving in enough, but also said he would never be the part of a coalition with Ferenc Gyurcsány, whom both of those parties would actually support, so this is gonna be just very tough. His critics mostly bring up his many small companies, which allegedly produced some tax arrears, and that he used his kids for his campaign in 2014. In general, probably he shared too much about his personal life. Not to mention that there is a still unclosed and unclear case with her ex-girlfriend who accuses him of domestic violence. Might be wrong, might be nothing, might be true, but definitely didn't come in the right time. The party's candidate for PM is Viktor Szigetvári, a political scientist and former MSZP campaign chief. Their program is pretty well written, mostly trying to bring the 1989-1990 liberal left centralist values back. Not likely to get a chance to prove it since they stand at around 1-2% at the moment. Number 8. Magyar Kétfarkú Kutyapárt. And yes, finally we arrived at this. Magyar Kétfarkú Kutyapárt, the Hungarian two-tailed dog party. It's a dog with two tails. Dig it? I could make a whole video about this party and I probably will, because their program is just brilliant. With the words of Gergely Kovács, head of this literally joke party, we want to make the elections enjoyable for the people and annoying for the politicians. So what is their program? Let them present it the way only they could, as they did it last week at the state TV.
Az örök élet és az ingyen sör ígérete az egy kifejezetten emblematikus szlogenjükké vált, de mit tudnak kínálni azoknak, mondjuk, akik nem akarják megvárni az önök majdani esetleges kormányzásának a végét, tehát az örökkévalóságot, hanem nem szeretnének örökké élni, és pláne a borosoknak?
Kodács, kodács.
And this goes on for more than 5 minutes. And what does the encrypted text say? Free beer. This is the core of their program. Free beer, eternal life, plus 5 years. And by the way, look at the host. He's hilarious. How he reacts on everything the same way he would in front of a normal person. I mean, these are truly beautiful moments of our TV history. Well, these are the main parties running for seats at the 2018 Hungarian elections. So why is this important for you? Because Orbán's Fidesz represents an all-new voice. Protect the country from migration, thus protect the Christian values. No multinationals, or at least not the ones we don't want. Firm, nearly autocratic, ruling, and illiberal economy. If they win, that is another fortress strong enough to support other nationalists and populists in the world. And they became surprisingly famous and popular on the far right worldwide. Meanwhile, the opposition is so eagerly trying to break them that they even created a website to help the so-called tactical voting. Here you can see who is the most powerful candidate from your opposition in your constituency. And so either the other representatives will step back, or the people will vote only for that person, only to beat the Fidesz candidate. The opposition tries to work together to reach 2/3, so they can change all those laws that were made by Fidesz when they had 2/3. The buzzword for the opposition is change, collaboration, togetherness, and for the Fidesz supporters it's all about continuation, consistency and prosperity. Well, that's all the politics for today. We will see what happens on Sunday the 8th. Thanks for watching, and if you haven't subscribed yet, do so and you can see another side of me in the next videos. I was that Levy guy. See you next time.